How's things going?
Good. Yeah, just had a good weekend. I went to Birmingham. My son and his wife live there, so we try to go hang out with them. I don't know,
Nice.
once every 6 weeks or once every 2 months, something like that. So it's a pretty easy
Yeah,
drive over there, and we spend the night with them and just get re caught up, and so it's good.
yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Love that. Birmingham's a good town.
Yes, it is. I really like it. It's a little smaller. A little bit slower pace, which I like.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
Atlanta 30 years ago.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I like it. Good morning, Nasser. How are you?
Sorry. Good morning. How are you today,
I'm doing
Gary?
good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. Jay, how are you doing?
I'm very good, Nasser. Thank you. How are
Yes, good.
you?
Good, thank you.
All right, so I've got 8:30. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Gary Nicholson here with Ask Me Anything. And this morning, our special guest is Jay Martin. Very excited for Jay to be here. So, welcome, Jay. Appreciate your time. Let's just start by tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you better.
Yeah. Good gracious. I'm an Atlanta native, born and raised here in Northeast Georgia. All my family is from Gainesville and a little bit north of there, so I spent a lot of time in Gainesville growing up. Came from a real blue collar family, just hard workers. I guess I found out recently some of my history. They were just oh, gosh, what do you call farmers that don't own the don't own the land? Sharecroppers.
Gotcha.
So just a little bit of kind of just um, I think a lot of that mindset made it through to my granddad and my dad, and it's kind of a little bit of the way that I work. I'm a just a kind of a blue collar real estate agent, which I like. It's just who I am, and so yeah, I lived here all my life. I played sports growing up, and played at Dunwoody High School, and then was fortunate enough to play at Georgia Tech. I was on the national championship team in 1990. Played for Bill Curry, Bobby Ross, and then coached for a couple years there for Bobby as a GA, which is a graduate assistant coach. It's
Sure.
basically just a grunt, but that's
Nice.
how you get started in the coaching business. And so did that for a little bit and realized that didn't want to sell my soul to the college football gods, and as a little bit much.
Yeah.
I love the sport, but didn't want to do all that. So at that time when I was at Tech, um, I met Jesus and became a Christian, and was just grateful for someone who shared the gospel with me. So that is the ultimate thing that directs my life, and humbles me every single day. And what gets me through probably the toughest business I've ever been in, which is the real estate business. I am humbled
Yes.
every single day. So constantly learning and growing, and grateful for David Blanton and you, Gary, and the other folks that have been so gracious to help me through my first 2.5 years of real estate, because I've had a lot of questions, and you guys have always picked up the phone and helped me. So I'm very grateful for being a part of Keller Williams.
Well, that's nice to say. We were all there, right? When we all started, we have a million questions, and we all still do today. We learn something new every single day. So, what do you like to do when you're not working?
Yeah, my wife wishes that there were more things that I would say that I do other than work. But right now, right now, I don't do much other than work, unfortunately. Um, I really enjoy my family. I love hanging out with my kids, even though they're all grown. We've always hunted, fished, backpacked, um, just done stuff together as a family. I like to smoked meat. A friend of mine gave me a Traeger, and love to do that. Never thought I would smoke a brisket. That's kind of the pinnacle for a barbecue guy. And so
Yeah.
every now and then I'll get one right, which is nice. And then sometimes I I have to do the walk of shame with
Yeah.
a 75 to $100 piece of meat. You know, it's
Right.
oh, this is not as good as I was hoping it.
Yeah. So
So
I try
yeah,
to.
and then just recently got back from a trip with my youngest son to Scotland, which was just a blast. He's going to be a commercial diver, so he's studying and training how to drop to the bottom of the ocean with one of these crazy suits on, and he
Wow.
took me with him, and so we spent some time learning Scotland and kind of visiting the school that he's at right now.
That sounds terrifying.
It was they
Dropping
gave
to
me
the
an
bottom of the
opportunity to
ocean.
put the stuff on, and I did, and I went into the training pool, and it was like locking a casket around your head when you put that
Oh,
big metal
oh,
helmet on.
wow. Well, God bless him. I'm sure there's a need for,
Yeah, there is.
yeah, yeah. Well, great. So what'd you do before you got into real estate, Jay?
Yeah, I was let's see. So out of I went to undergrad at Tech and graduate school at Tech, and then after I decided I didn't want to be a football coach, I got into full-time ministry, which was not something that I planned on doing, was not in my plan, but it was in God's plan for me. So I was in sports ministry, which is putting together sports leagues, and then ultimately kind of led to a role as a leadership in a ministry called Camp All American, which was a large summer day camp in Duluth, Georgia, Johns Creek, Georgia, at a church called Perimeter Church. So I did that, was in that type of work for 26 years. And then I was in development for a nonprofit called First Liberty for a couple of years. I raised funds in the Southeast, traveling Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, and Mississippi, and then got my real estate license, and here I am.
So what made you want to make the jump from what you were doing to real estate?
I've been around real estate all my life, in somewhat form or shape or fashion. My dad was a developer and a builder, which gave me the opportunity to build homes. He gave me the opportunity, and I was on frame and crew and did punch out work for him, and just kind of was all in it and around it, and was looking for a transition from what was doing to something different. And this just seemed to be kind of hanging out. It's not like I had this dream of being a real estate agent, because I never had anybody in my family that was one, but I thought it may fit some of the skills and things that I love. I love building relationships with people. I love kind of helping them and serving them. One of the things that I loved about ministry is getting into their lives and helping them navigate the challenges of life. I never thought of myself as a salesperson. Always, really didn't like sales. I'm not a guy that walks into the room and just kind of takes it over. I'm not a big personality. That's just not who I am. I'm more building. I'm more the guy sitting in the corner at a party that kind of finds someone that's willing to talk, more than about the weather. And so that's kind of what I do. I find someone who's a little bit more like that and kind of weather the storm in the party. So I just thought I'd give it a shot, and had an opportunity in the development job that I was in to have a little bit of free time because I was working from home. So it gave me the opportunity to kind of step into it before I stepped out of the other job.
There's a lot of us like that. I'm the same way. I'm in the corner looking for somebody that wants to talk college football. And so yeah, obviously you've had great success, and I've had some success in this business. So we don't have to be the life of the party or the social butterfly. Fortunately,
Yeah.
be successful. So what were your perceptions about real estate when you were thinking about getting into it full time?
Gosh. It's interesting. they may come to me, Gary, but most of them have been blown out of the water, whatever they were,
Yeah.
have been completely destroyed. I think I'm starting over in terms of figuring out, okay, what in the world is this business? And what does it take um, to do it well? And I honestly, really didn't know. I didn't have this impression that people just stuck signs in the yard and, cash checks. I wasn't that stupid. It's kind of like looking at, saying school teachers, all they do is, they check in and check out, and they get summers off and Christmas off, and it's like they don't really work hard, and that's ridiculous. They
Yeah.
work their rear ends off, or
They do,
a
yeah.
stay-at-home mom. It's like, no, they're the hardest working people in the world. Um,
Yep.
so I don't know. I knew a little bit about, kind of the commercial world because my dad was in that world, and knew there was some people that I knew that made good money. And so I saw that. But what I didn't see is the people that had dropped out. I did the people that had, just it didn't work. And there was a lot more of them than there were folks that had made it. And the ones that were still in it for 20, 30 years had made it. And those are the ones that, it's like, oh, okay, everybody's like this. But getting in it now, I'm realizing, no, there's a lot more people that don't make it. And I'm realizing, at least in some ways, why. Because it's tough. It takes a lot of money and takes a lot of time, and it's a grind.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So now that you've had some success, a great deal of success, how have your perceptions changed about real estate?
Hmm. Um,
Or have they? Well, I guess you said a lot of them that you had in the beginning were just blowing out of the water. So then, let me ask you, what are some of the things you'd say have been key to the success that you've achieved?
yeah. Well, I've floundered a lot over the last 2.5 years. I really feel like I've struggled to try to find the train tracks to run on, and I do that. I need train tracks. I need a path because I work I work in I like routine, and I like to find things that work and just do that. So um, finding people like yourself that I can call. I'm not against, I'm not the old thing about men is they don't ask for directions when they're lost. Well, I mean, that's probably true. I'm prideful in a lot of ways, but that's not one of them. I don't
Yeah.
mind stopping and asking for directions. And I found that that's been very helpful to me over the last 2.5 years, is not just assuming that everything's going to be okay. And so I've asked a lot of questions from a lot of people, and I've been very grateful about that. Um, sorry, I've got hang on, just my dog's about to, hang on.
Well, if he's got something to say, we're all ears.
She's terrified of everything, but she likes to act like she's big and bad. So I don't want her to lose her mind here. Repeat the question for me so I can stay on track.
So some of the things that have been key to your success.
Yeah, first of all, building, relationships. It's people that know, like, and trust you. And just I'm that's really been the key. Folks that have already known me, and I have already that trust relationship with. Those have
Yeah.
been the primary folks that have allowed me to work with them and serve them. And so just continuing to leverage that, if you will, those relationships has been really important.
Good. So you started with the people you already knew, trust you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's something we talk about a lot.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's so easy to get kind of caught up in, lead generation from the internet and all that type of stuff. That seems like, I don't know why that seems so attractive, but You know, I've gotten some really great advice over the years, and stay away from that if that's not your place. And it hasn't been my place. And so the folks at my church, I happen to go to a little small church, but they've been just so gracious to, you know, to not only use me but refer me. And so that's been really helpful, and just being able to be in a relationship like that and get all of that kind of weirdness out of the way, because it is out of the way, and get to work for them has been
Yeah.
really helpful. And I really enjoyed that, and building relationships with vendors and others to serve them in other ways has been really helpful. Not just say, hey, I'm here to do your contract, but hey, I'm here to help in any way that I can. I guess we call it adding value. And that's been a really important part of me broadening my ability to serve my clients. And so that's been really helpful as well.
Great. So you kind of answered the next question already. Is there anything that you've abandoned in your business? And it sounds like internet leads is something that that you've stayed away from, and that's good. It's a lot of work. And not always a lot of reward. All right,
Yeah.
finally, what's one piece of advice, and then we'll take some questions from the folks on the call. What's one piece of advice you would give to a brand new agent just starting out?
Yeah. Gosh. So many things, Gary. You know, I think finding the right fit in a brokerage for you is really important. And not that Keller Williams is the right fit for everybody, because it's not. But that was helpful for me because it's just down the street from where I live, and the culture there fits to where I felt like I could get the help that I needed. And I said, so not that I found all the answers there, because I haven't, but I found kind of a home base, and that's been really, really important for me. And it's been a good fit for me. And so I'm very grateful for that. Found some great friends, some other folks that, you know, that kind of we support and encourage one another. Found some great coaching. Um, just there's been a lot of good that has come out of that decision. You know, because you go and interview with brokerages, and everybody offers you a job, and I'm like, I came home talking to my wife, and I'm like, hey, this is the best interview ever. You know, every door I walk into, I feel like the most wanted man on the planet, because everybody's offering me a job, and I'm like, the reality is I got two legs and I'm breathing, and that's the reason they've offered me a job. And so finding the right fit was an important thing.
Yeah. Great. All right, well, we got a few folks online. Anybody on the call have a question? Ashley, you have a question, or Whitman?
No, I don't have any questions. But thank you.
Yanni or Woodland, do y'all have any questions?
I have too many. Let me think for a second.
No,
Oh yeah.
All right, well, Jay, very much appreciate your time. Good stuff.
Has my video been off the whole time?
It has.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I'm so sorry. I just looked down here and it was off. I'm sorry.
It's all right, no problem. Didn't want to interrupt you. We're on a good roll. So appreciate your time, Jay. Wish you continued success. And of course, as always, if I can do anything for you, just let me know.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you all.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
okay, so